The first thing I want to talk about is just Coach Verlin and two coaches with an intense rival game on the line. I had an opportunity to buy an auction package to sit on his bench. Actually, could spend the whole day with him, but I had to make sure my team was right. But I don't think anybody's ever seen that anywhere in the country, where an opposing coach has stood on one side of the field, sat on another team's bench, sat on another team's dugout. But that's not the importance of what transpired. It was the fact that you had coaches, again, coaches standing up for such a worthy cause and taking a moment to identify the fact that all those people that have survived cancer, all those people who lost loved ones. Coach has lost his father. I've lost my father. I just lost a teammate in the last month that played with me at Oregon. And just having the opportunity to reach out to people to continue to give, continue to be a part of any organization that we can beat this disease. It's been beaten all over the country by some wonderful individuals, but there's still help that needs to be done, and that was the purpose of the moment of sitting on that bench. Nothing more than that, not about me, not about Coach. It was about cancer and bringing a recognition to it that we had an opportunity to do it.
What was said between you and Coach Verlin there at the beginning? You were sitting next to him and you guys exchanged some words there.
He said and I said both that our dads would be proud of us, to know that we were here in this moment in time honoring them and their name, their death, what they went through, the fact that it was cancer, and here were two coaches in a competitive business taking a moment. And he talked about his dad, I talked about my dad, so they're probably up in heaven hugging each other right now. So I wanted to make sure I gave him a big hug and thank him for the moment.
Have you been a part of, where would that rank on your special career moments list?
It would rank at the top. And because we've done a lot of work with Coaches versus Cancer, being a member of the NABC and our association, it being the Jimmy V week that were just transpired and everything, and we still have suits and sneakers coming up in January where every coach across the country will put on his suit and put on his Nikes and have an opportunity again to talk about and bring awareness to cancer. So, but this is pretty special because coaches just don't do this. And it was an opportunity to show the country that, yes, we do. We can take a moment and put the competitive nature aside and do something for such a worthy cause. So it ranks at the top just because of the fact that I've never seen another coach sit on another coach's bench at the start of the game. Now, I still want him to let me have a play, but I understood in the heat of the moment we didn't want to go that far, but it was still a special moment for me to be down there with him and us talk about our pops.
Will you let Don return the favor next year?
You know, I don't know, because I'm really pushing hard for women at the two respective schools. I think we've got some wonderful women coaches that would do an outstanding job of stepping up and leading it the next year. And certainly, I'd be willing to make it a package, you bet. And if he bids high enough, he can come coach my team. In fact, I'd let him coach my team. I'd go over to Seattle and go shopping, and he can have him for the whole day. Then I can get him back for the game.
And just how was it to sit on the opposite bench there for a possession?
It was weird, and I was trying to occupy them a little bit because we had a play on, thinking we were going to get a bucket for Josh right there in front of the bench. And as it turned out, I thought Charles had a good look at it, and it didn't happen. But again, it was just a special moment because he's a wonderful, wonderful man. And to be able to do that and fellowship with him in that point in time, that's special. And it's something I'll never forget and something that I think will be talked about for a long time. But again, it's not about the coaches down there. It's about Coaches versus Cancer, but it's just bringing awareness to the moment.
Now, overall thoughts on the game, obviously a good showing from your squad.
They have beaten us the last 2 years. He's been there a long time. They have an outstanding program, first class. They run a terrific system. We have struggled the last 2 years in trying to guard them, and I'm feeling like we're starting to make some progress because I thought we played terrific defense in the game, first half and second half. A few mistakes that we're going to have to clean up. But the thing about this team, they have growth potential, and they have the potential to still play at a consistent level, and that's the thing we've been juggling with. It seems, again, when the emotion is there, their spirit is tapped into, they play at a different level. And with this being a moment about cancer and all those things, I thought they played at a different level in this game, and that's where we need to try to keep them. That's been the trick with this team.
Unlike maybe the Montana game or the Utah Valley game, there wasn't a 30-point score for your team. It was kind of much more equitably distributed. How did they sort of feed off each other in that regard?
Idaho's defense had a lot to do with that, going from man to full court pressure to zone. The fact that they switched up their defenses so much, it didn't give one guy an opportunity to take over games. So therefore, you didn't have a Malachi being able to penetrate all night long. You didn't have Connor or Josh being able to post up all night long because they double teamed, they zoned. So they kept you guessing, and it allowed us to share the ball, and different guys at different times stepped up and knocked down shots. Charles Callison had a couple big threes. Ike hit a big three in the first half, hit a huge one with a shot clock going down the second half. And then Josh and Connor, when they had opportunities to score inside, they did. So I just thought we were poised and taking what they gave us and didn't try to force too much.
Going into the game, did you anticipate a ton of different defensive looks from them?
Yes, we did. I mean, they've played us that way before. We've done a good job of scouting them. And seeing what they've done in their other games, and everybody they've played, their rhythm is on a made bucket, they press you and they fall back into the zone. No different than us. They know our rhythm defensively as well. So we're pretty well prepared for it and did a good job of executing the game plan.
Was Victor Sanders a focal point for your defense, and did he ever become a focal point?
He was a focal point coming into the game because we had a hard time with him last year. And I thought in the first half, Ike was outstanding. I think he had two threes in the first half, and that was it. He got going a little bit in the second half, and we took Ike off of him, had Charles on him, had Darian King on him, Keith was on him. We just tried to keep a fresh set of legs on him because he's a special player. He could get rolling on you, and he could put up that 30-point night. So I thought we did a pretty good job with him.
What did you like out of Langston tonight with a short bench?
I thought the fact that he has not played a lot since the season has started. He came in and he was composed. He made a couple mistakes, but the more minutes we can give him, just like Robert Franks, the better he is going to play. And I was happy that he had an opportunity to get some minutes and do some things that maybe gives him his confidence and also gives us confidence in putting him out there more, which we will.
They were 17 to 66. Do you feel like you did a good job of forcing them into some uncomfortable looks and kind of forcing them outside?
I thought we did a good job of forcing them to have the right people take those shots, meaning that we tried to keep the ball out of the hands of guys that could really shoot it extremely well and light you up, and we had the right people taking shots at the right time, and I thought we did a good job that way.
Though you guys played a very complete game, you guys gave up 20 offensive rebounds, and it only led to 8 second-chance points. Was that just a case of unlucky bounces? Or?
That's a case of being glued to the floor, particularly guys with size 18 feet. They can't move, meaning Connor. And we talked about that a couple of timeouts. But that's been a problem for us, and we know we have to do a better job of that, particularly when you get to bigger, stronger teams that are going to capitalize on those rebounds. And we've not solved that problem yet either. So when I talk about growth potential, there's some things we can still do that can make us a lot more sound, a lot more tougher, mentally tougher, physically tougher, that'll give us an opportunity to win some more games.
Just what does it mean to see your team? They never let the momentum kind of slip on them. I think that's happened before where you got a double-digit lead and they start coming back, but you guys stop that every time they try.
That was the number one thing I talked about in the locker room, that unlike a Utah Valley, even a Montana State, I felt like they did an outstanding job of keeping the lead and keeping that 10 to 12-point cushion through the whole game. And, again, that's a good sign because that's a good team that could have come back on you really quickly. But we answered the bell every time they made a move. We hit a big bucket back and we got a key stop, key rebound, some of those things. Ready, Jess? Jessica? Got him?
They're not here yet. No, we're good.
Done with me?
Did you enjoy having Allen back on the bench with you? Is he glad to be back?
Coach Allen, I really enjoyed Coach Allen being back on the bench. We have missed him. He'll come back to practice full bore starting this weekend at Kansas State. We leave tomorrow and jump on a plane here pretty quick to head back to Kansas City. That's going to be a really good trip for us. It's going to be an incredible team that's sitting back there waiting for us. But I'm anxious to get this team on the road.
What will you be looking for them to try and bring home after Kansas State?
Say it again.
What will you be looking for progress-wise in Kansas?
I think the biggest thing is being able to handle their composure, going back out on the road. And this is the first true road game. We played on some neutral courts, Virgin Islands, over in the Tri-Cities. This first road game is going to give those new guys a taste of what life on the road is like when you get 8,000 to 10,000 people in that arena. Is beautiful back there, and in that environment, we're going to really have to handle ourselves extremely well, be composed. Good. Thank you.
Did
Did you get your mic?
No, I was going to ask you about the rivalry, just preserving the rivalry and the importance. I mean, you know, how much history there is behind that, and you know, that's a legacy that goes beyond coaches.
You know, I've said this before, and I wish we could have kept our rivalry going with the Zags, even though it's been broken from time to time. Maybe we can get it back, because these rivalries, they go beyond Coach Verlin and Coach Kent. When you have people in the stands that have been coming to these games for the last 40, 50, 60 years, it's bigger than us not wanting to play someone or worried about strength of schedule and RPI and all that. At least it means that much to me, because the universities have been here for 100-plus years. That's the constant. The change has been different presidents, different athletic directors, different students, different student athletes, and different coaches. But the communities have stayed here as well, too. They deserve to have the opportunity to let friends get together, go to dinner together, go to a game, talk about the rivalry, talk about the good old days and all that. I'm just happy that we can continue to be a part of that, and I will continue to do that, because that's bigger than me, and it's bigger than us basketball coaches. That's tradition, and you should never mess with tradition.